Well, I hope you've had time to get caught up after the day off that we had yesterday to do that wrestling stuff that so many of you dislike for. Mean. We're still doing more of it though. I enjoyed it. But hopefully you did get caught up and understand why everything is green around here now. We start the Plymouth Argyle story today. Hello and welcome to Season 10, Episode 1, again, of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we meet our new Plymouth Argyle squad, and we start on what is just going to be the final 10 games of the season, where we try and secure our spot in League One for next season. As you can see, in fact you can't because my head's in the way, there you go, we'll move that around there. As you can see, we're now up to the 14th of March, so a lot of time has passed since Blackpool gave me the heave-ho. They're still rock bottom, serves them right. Leyton Orient, with Cristiano Ronaldo as manager, they're still second to rock bottom, serves them right too. But we are only just outside of the relegation spot, only a point ahead of Stevenage, only 2 points ahead of Orient. It's very tight here down at the bottom. Southend have had a little bit of a recovery. They're now up to 47 points. And my beloved Poshlook up in second place in the league. And Blackburn, with all that money, they've charged up the league with their new manager as well. They had like £17 million to spend, I think. I think it was Blackburn. But anyway, let's have a look at our new squad. We're not going to spend too much time dwelling on it because we're probably only going to, well, we are only going to play 10 games before we hit the summer and hopefully gut the whole thing out and build something in my image. I would hope that I'm going to have some money to spend this summer. We've got £1 million in the bank. There's a little bit of transfer budget knocking around. We are maxed out on our wage budget, but there's plenty of players out of contract who will be moving on in the summer. And really, these next 10 games, as well as trying to save us at the same time, I need to be trying to figure out who we're going to keep, what holes we have in our current squad, and what tactic we're going to be playing. Initially, obviously, we're at a new club. We're going to give the old faithful a try, so we're going to be using the 4-3-1-2 for today. If it doesn't work, we'll experiment with something else for the next match. So, our team, let's meet them as we introduce them. So in goal, we have Alessandro Tonti, a 33-year-old Italian goalkeeper who, I mean, he's only 2.5-star current ability. He's not really good enough. He's been at Plymouth for a long, long time. But I think it's probably time he moved on. He had a season where he barely played 2 years ago, but somehow made his way back into the team last year. He's barely played this year, but we are playing him today because our other option is this guy, Michael Korey, who is on loan from QPR, so he's not going to be here next year. So I want to see what our actual goalkeeper is like. If he's rubbish, and it looks like it's going to be a relegation-threatening decision, we might bring Korey back in sooner rather than later. But for now, I want to look at my own players and decide if they're any good. We've got Ryan Nyambi at right back, 28-year-old Namibian international with 39 caps. He is probably the best player at the club, and he's a right back, which is why I want to do the 4-3-1-2, because those of you who were around this time last year will remember how effective this tactic can be if you have a decent right back. So we might, say it quietly, we might have the new Lazarov here, which would be amazing. 3.5-star current ability. He signed from Bolton earlier in the season, where he's been at Bolton for a long, long time, having previously been at Blackburn. I don't really understand why a player who looks as good as he does has been languishing down in League One for so long. He had his little run in the Championship earlier in his career. He has been a solid performer for Bolton for, 5 years? Before being signed by us for a really small fee. He's never come up on my transfer radar. I don't really get it. Perhaps he's not as good as he looks, but he looks awesome. We've got Mark Smith at left back, who is a 24-year-old, very attacking fullback. He'd rather be a wing back. He's not going to be a wing back unless we have a massive tactical change. But again, really, really good. 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. We've got some proper fullbacks, and I love a fullback. And we're just going to build our whole team around having two good fullbacks, because I think, like I say, I think they probably are the two best players we've got. Korey Jordan at centre-back, 27 years old. It's lovely seeing some players on 3.5 stars again. It's been so long. He is 27 years old. cost us £500,000. We were at a club who can spend £500,000 on a defender when he was brought in from Oxford a few years ago. He's been Mr. Reliable ever since. Nothing spectacular, but we're going to change all that and make him spectacular. And he plays alongside Fabian Thid. No idea. 25 years old. Not as good as you would hope he would be with that name, but decent. I mean, he's decent at this level. He's the second best centre-back at the club. We are trying to bring someone else in because there's a free transfer out of contract chap who we can bring in. We obviously can't bring in loans anymore or sign anyone who's currently at a club, but we are a little bit weak in backup at centre-back. But this guy, again, we paid money for him, came in from Doncaster. He's been outside the league for a little while before he ended up at Doncaster, so a bit of a meteoric rise to end up in League One, but he did start out at Man United. High hopes for him and all that. And then our midfield, Brad Potts, 31 years old, can play just about anywhere on the pitch. 3-star current ability. He works hard. He's a decent midfield player. Another one who arrived from Bolton, having previously been at Blackpool for a long, long time. Look, Blackpool got 625 grand for this player 2 years ago. Where did that money go, eh? But he's another player who looks like he should be a good player at this level. I don't really know how Plymouth are in the mess that they're in, and hopefully it should be easily fixable. We're having a slight tactical change where we usually have the ball-winning midfielder. We're making him into a central midfielder on defend. Lots of you suggested that to me previously, and I ignored you. But having read a little bit more about how ball-winning midfielders work, I kind of see the logic, because his central midfielder on defend should just sit there and defend, whereas a ball-winning midfielder is all over the place and creates gaps behind him. So we'll see how it works out. Hopefully it won't prove to be a really damaging decision. But Sid Kerr, another one we paid decent money for, started his career at Chelsea, been around a bit, never really been fully established anywhere, apart from the odd season here and there, apart from for the last couple of years where he has become a regular here at Plymouth. And then we have our only loanee in the starting lineup. This lad's on loan from Huddersfield. Last time I had a player on loan from Huddersfield, it worked out quite well. Francois Xavier Russo, 21-year-old French midfielder, can play defensive, normal or attacking midfield. Bags of potential, and I mean, he's a player who we're never going to be able to get permanently. He was at Monaco. Huddersfield paid, a bargain price for him, really. He's come out on loan to us and barely played. And looking at him, I don't understand why he's not played 30 games this season. It seems mad. He's going to play a lot of games before this season ends. Then we've got Greg Ollie, 30-year-old, attacking midfielder, can also play out on the wing, but attacking midfield is where he likes to do his thing. 30 years old, 3-star ability. He's a perfectly adequate League One footballer who's never really done anything spectacular. But, I mean, he's been fine. He's been around this level his whole career. Never lets anyone down. He'll do until the end of the season. And then up front, our main man, our goal scorer, Declan Davison, 23-year-old Northern Irish international, has 4 goals in 12 caps for Northern Ireland. Still got potential to improve as well. I remember looking at this lad when we were at Southend, I think. I tried to sign him from Cliftonville at one point, but for whatever reason, he didn't come and he went to Plymouth instead. Probably we signed someone better at the time, maybe, but he seems to have developed reasonably well. He's the best striker we've got at the club, and he's got potential to continue improving, and he's been scoring goals. So hopefully we'll see more of that from him for the rest of the season. And then filling out the first team, we have Tom Harper, 32-year-old striker, who's been at Plymouth for a long, long time, has historically scored a lot of goals, hasn't played enough games this year, but that is going to change for the rest of the run-in. And I think, as a front two, they have goals in them. We're going to be attacking, flying down the wings with these 2 real top quality fullbacks, getting crosses into 2 big men up front who have got goals in them. And I would like to think we're going to score a lot of goals. That's the plan. We play Swindon today. We are at home. I'm not sure where Swindon are in the league. Let's have a little look. Swindon are 12th. So they're a team if we're as good as I hope we are, they're a team we're quite capable of beating. So let's get into the game. The one worry is looking at that team sheet. There are quite a few players who aren't particularly comfortable in the role I'm asking them to perform. It might be a problem. We'll have to see. Yeah, we're going to stay up. Of course we're going to stay up. Yes, I know what I'm doing. Stop asking me questions now. Yes, of course there's a change in the tactics because there's a new manager. Oh, good. Another question. Do I remember a Korey Jordan? Did we talk about him? I guess he's great. And another question. Fantastic. Oh, we lost the last time we met. Okay, we'll win today. Deal. Right, there we go. Let's actually have a football match, finally. Oh, it's good to be playing football again for a team I want to be at. I actually see a future here at Plymouth. I see us making our way up into the Championship, establishing ourselves up there, and then not leaving until there's a Premier League offer on the table. That's the plan at the moment. Obviously, it does rely on staying up this year. Harper is in here. I thought he'd taken it on too far, but in actual fact, he'd taken it just the right amount of distance, tucks it in at the near post. That is a very neat finish. That doesn't look like a player who's low on confidence in a struggling team and not playing well, because that is it's a very confident way to go about this play, because I would expect him to be cutting across the goal here and trying to narrow down his angles. But in actual fact, he's ran and to poke that into the tiniest of little gaps. But however it's happened, we're 1-0, we're 1-1. We're not 1-0 up anymore because we just conceded a goal. Because as usual, the goalkeeper's the weak link. That all seemed a little bit sloppy. I think we had a couple of opportunities to clear there. That Jordan header, that should have been a clearance. And we had 3 players in the middle there, and they only had 2. You would like to think we could make a tackle there as well. But really, the big issue there was the really poor headed clearance from our captain, Korey Jordan. I do remember him now. Celebrating his 125th game for us with a really poor header that gave away a goal immediately after we had a great start to the match. But the positives, and there aren't many, looking at the fact that Orient have just jumped over us in the league, so we're now back into the relegation zone, all because I mocked Cristiano Ronaldo. But looking at the positives, we have had more clear-cut chances. That means we're playing well. Hopper's in again, doesn't manage to get the shot away this time, but the attack is still on. Russo finds Jordan, back to Russo, now Kerr, and the attack does finally break down. And Nyambi with the chance to cross. Let's see how good he is at that, and it just kind of goes straight into the goalkeeper's hands. Is that Bentley, who's supposed to be quite good in real life, whose name I can't remember? Potts now finds Davison. Nyambi out wide again with the cross. This time it's a much better cross, and Ollie does manage to get the finish in. It's his first goal of the season. We're 2-1 up, and if we look at those stats, which we'll be able to in a minute, we are dominating this football match. This is what we want to be seeing lots of for the rest of this season. Nyambi with the cross. We've got 3 men in the middle. All of them have got goals in them. Ollie's the one who gets on the end of that one, and we've had 60% possession so far, 2 clear-cut chances to the 0 that Swindon have had. We are looking like a good team, and that goal has pulled us back out of the relegation zone. Davison now been very quiet so far. Potts out to Nyambi, and that's not what we were hoping for, but Davison wins the ball back, finds Nyambi again. Let's have another cross. Cross does come into Hopper, ends up falling back to Russo, and the attack breaks down. Potts now to Russo, to Ollie, to Hopper. We're playing lovely football. Potts to Ollie, Davison. Potts, they're trying to work it out to Nyambi. He's cut in field. Kerr now getting involved. Look at this. How long has it been since they touched the ball? What a goal! I mean, that was just brilliant. There must have been 20 or 25 passes unchallenged in the lead up to that goal. And we said Davison had been a little bit quiet so far, but he picked the ball up exactly when and where it mattered most, stuck it in the back of the net. We're now 3-1 up. We're playing excellent football. Look at the difference in average ratings between the two teams. You would not believe that Swindon were the mid-table team and we were the team who were under a new manager and supposed to be getting relegated. We have looked excellent. Right, let's take Kerr off. Ed Jeffrey's going to come on and play in that central midfield spot. He's primarily a centre-back, only 21. Got a little bit of potential. He's been here a little while, never really played very much. Well, there you go. He gets the opportunity to stay with 20 minutes to go to show me if he can be a midfielder or not. We don't really have any other options. What we might do is drop Ollie back. And then if we got someone, and then we can bring, Billy Murphy can come on and go there. That seems to work for me. Who is Billy Murphy? Let's have a little look at him. Youngster, only 19, on loan from Fulham. 5-star potential. He's mainly a left winger, who they signed from Tottenham. He got 3 assists from 7 games so far, so he's a creative player. We are going to be playing him out of position as an attacking midfielder, but we're not going to be using wingers because we're playing so very well that if he wants to continue getting opportunities in our team, he's going to have to show me that he's capable of playing behind the front 2 rather than as a winger. Right, Russo picks the ball up again, finds Smith, who doesn't really get it anywhere, but Murphy has got the ball now to Russo, to Ollie, back to Murphy, Davison, we're at it again, Ollie again, Murphy's in and should have scored, it should be 4-1, and again, the short little passes are excellent. We've talked about this before on the channel, about how this tactic, when they're playing well, does generate some beautiful one-touch passing football, and I mean, I don't get it, you tell me which one of those instructions does that. No idea. But it always has, and I love it. Right, we've made another substitution. Mark Kelly is coming on at left back. Mark Kelly's 21 years old, another one with a decent amount of potential, and this one's our player. I tell you what, we've got quite a selection of fullbacks here. This is basically Kev's dream world. It's fullback central, and we've got 10 minutes to hold on to a 3-1 lead. We've jumped above Cambridge now, which as a posh fan is always very satisfying. And now Russo again to Murphy, to Hopper, to Russo, to Ollie, Davison. Are we counting these passes here? Because it's time and again just an absolute joy to watch. If this is how this Plymouth team are going to play football, this is going to be a lot of fun. I am enjoying this game more than I did any game we had at Blackpool. Blackpool was always quite hard work. But even when we were winning, it was quite hard work. But this feels like we're at Hamilton again. I'm enjoying myself. And hopefully we're not going to concede a late goal here because it will take the shine off a little bit. But they're just resorting to shooting from the long range. And they deserve to lose because, hold on, they've got a number 2 up front. That's nearly as bad as having a number 2 in goal. Murphy's in again. Can he do better this time? He can't. I think that was a challenge rather than just a really weird, wild cross that ended up going behind him. But none of that matters. We've won 3-1, so we've won our first game in charge at Plymouth. We've jumped up the league a little bit, and more importantly, we've opened up an extra point's worth of gap. We're now 2 points ahead of Orient, who are in that 4th relegation spot. And if we keep playing the way we played today, we have no fears at all about relegation, because that was superb. If you've enjoyed that, and as is the tradition on this series, when we join a new club, we try and get as many likes as we possibly can. Let's aim for at least 500, if not more. But if you've enjoyed it, please make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.